Hi, my name is Dr. K, and in this video, we'll talk about the basics of mixed methods research. Here's what we will cover in this presentation. First, we will define mixed methods, or MMR for short, and when it's appropriate to use this research design. Then, we will go over 3 of the most common MMR designs. And finally, we will go over tips for presenting mixed methods results. Let's begin by defining mixed methods research and understanding what makes this approach different from using qualitative or quantitative methods alone. Mixed methods research is an approach that combines both quantitative data, which is numerical, and qualitative data, which is descriptive or narrative. This method is especially useful when we want to explore a comprehensive problem from multiple angles. For example, we might want to understand both the measurable patterns in survey data and the personal experiences behind those numbers. MMR allows us to produce comprehensive findings, validate results, or build or refine tools. Here are 2 examples. In the first, a researcher wants to study the stress and well-being of on-call staff. They use a survey to quantify burnout levels and then conduct interviews to explore how institutional support affects participants' experiences. In the second, we see a study on leadership development among mid-level administrators. The qualitative component explores participants' experiences in leadership programs, while the quantitative component measures confidence before and after the training. Both examples use MMR to get a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of the topic. So how do you know if MMR is the right choice for your study? Use this design when your research questions require both statistical trends and personal meaning. It is also a good fit when you are developing a new instrument or theory, or when results from one method raise new questions for the other. For example, if your survey data is surprising or unclear, you might use interviews to help explain why. Or if your qualitative theme suggests a pattern, you can test that pattern in a larger sample with quantitative tools. Now let's take a closer look at the research questions in mixed methods design. Your research questions are the foundation of any study, and in mixed methods research, they reflect both the quantitative and qualitative investigation. Usually, MMR studies have at least 3 questions, one for each method and one that brings both together. This final integration question allows you to explore how the 2 data sets relate and what they reveal collectively that wouldn't be visible using one method alone. Let's look at 2 examples. In the first, the research explores employee job satisfaction and retention. The quantitative question asks about the relationship between job satisfaction and retention. The qualitative question explores how employees describe that connection in their own words. And the integration question ties them together to see how trends match lived experiences. In the second example, the focus is on remote work. The research questions explore both measurable impacts and perceived experiences, with integration again helping to create a full picture. Now let's talk about the most common mixed methods research designs. There are 3 core designs in mixed methods research: explanatory sequential, exploratory sequential, and convergent. Each one has a specific sequence and purpose, and choosing the right one depends on your research goals. Explanatory sequential designs begin with quantitative data collection and analysis, such as surveys or institutional records. Then qualitative methods, such as interviews or focus groups, are used to explain or interpret your quantitative results, especially if they are surprising, complex, or unclear. Here we can see an example of explanatory sequential design. Suppose a faculty survey shows that early career faculty experience significantly more burnout than tenure faculty. To better understand that pattern, you might interview early career faculty to explore their experiences. This qualitative follow-up helps you explain the quantitative results and identify specific organizational factors that contribute to burnout. Exploratory sequential design is the opposite of the previous one. In this design, we start with qualitative data to explore an issue, generate themes, or identify variables. Then, we use quantitative tools to measure or test those findings on a larger scale. This design is particularly useful when you are developing a new survey or testing a new model. For example, let's say you are interested in how new faculty who just graduated from grad school adjust during onboarding and transition into the profession. You begin with interviews to explore their experiences and identify key themes. You discover the themes of mentorship, clear expectations, and early feedback. Then, you design a survey based on those themes and administer it across departments to examine how those factors relate to retention and engagement. The third mixed methods design is convergent. Here, you collect quantitative and qualitative data at the same time. The goal is to compare and combine both types of data to get a comprehensive picture of the issue. This design is ideal when you want to examine relationships and also capture lived experiences. For example, you might study work-life balance in high-stress units like crisis response. You administer a survey to measure productivity and work-life balance while also conducting focus groups to hear directly from staff. Then you integrate both data types to see how participants' narratives align or don't align with the numbers. To summarize, each of the three core mixed methods designs serves a different purpose. Explanatory sequential design starts with numbers and follows up with explanations. Exploratory sequential design is used to explore tools or variables. And convergent collects both at the same time to build a more complete picture. Once you have collected and analyzed your data, the next step is to present your results in a clear and integrated way. In mixed methods research, results are organized and presented by your research question, not by method. This helps your audience see how the different data sources address the same issue. Be sure to explain how your qualitative and quantitative results relate and use clear transitions to guide your reader through each phase. Avoid simply reporting each method separately without drawing any connections between them. To help with integration, use language that shows how the two types of data support or contrast with each other. You can use the examples presented on this slide or come up with different ones. These phrases will help you ensure that your synthesis is clear and will help your audience understand the full picture of your results. One powerful way to present integrated results is by using joint displays. These are tables, diagrams, or visuals that bring your qualitative and quantitative data together. They help the reader see how your findings relate, support, or contrast with each other. You can use them to show alignment, highlight differences, or organize results by themes or research questions. To wrap up, let's go over some final tips and common mistakes to avoid when planning and conducting a mixed method study. Here are a few final reminders. In Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, make sure you clearly justify why mixed methods is the right fit for your study. In Chapter 3, describe each data collection and analysis phase, explain your integration plan, and specify sequence, timing, and priority. In Chapter 4, use tools like joint displays or side-by-side comparisons to present your integrated results. Always avoid treating each method as an independent study. When using mixed methods, one of the biggest mistakes is treating your study like two separate projects. Remember, the value of this approach comes from meaningful integration, not just collecting two types of data. Another common issue is misalignment, where the methods don't clearly connect to the research questions or one method ends up dominating the other. Finally, be sure to clearly explain the timing of your methods and how each phase connects to your overall goals. Mixed methods work best when everything fits together with intention and logic. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope the information was helpful in choosing the best design for your study.